Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're getting into the absolute extremes of subsea engineering. We are looking at a brutal trial known as the liner collapse test, breaking down the exact science of how engineers make sure the pipelines running along our ocean floors don't just crumple like soda cans under massive pressure.
So think about this scenario for a second. What actually happens when those incredible deep water pressures are squeezing a pipe from the outside, but suddenly there's zero internal pressure pushing back? Well, the balance is totally shattered. The ocean essentially wants to crush that tube flat. It's a literal high-pressure situation, and the results can be absolutely catastrophic.
To see how engineers tackle this, we are going to run through the deep-sea threats, break down the pipe's anatomy, set up our laboratory interrogation room, go step by step through the trial, and figure out what survival actually looks like.
Right, let's start with the deep-sea threat where the stakes are incredibly high and pressure dictates everything.
The thing is, a pipeline isn't just fighting static ocean weight. It's dealing with dynamic, sudden internal pressure drops. We're talking routine pipeline depressurization, draining after a hydrostatic test, installation operations, or even just vacuum conditions from maintenance tasks like pigging. Any of these transient events can leave the pipe's thin internal liner completely exposed and heavily outmatched by the immense outside forces.
Which brings us to the anatomy of the MLP. The specific subject on trial today. Picture the mechanically lined pipe, or MLP. Inside, you've got this super thin 2 to 4 millimeter layer called the corrosion-resistant alloy, or CRA liner. It sits right inside a much thicker, heavy-duty carbon steel backing pipe. They meet at what's known as the triple point, along with the weld overlay. Now, that thin CRA liner is doing the heavy lifting to stop internal corrosion from hydrocarbons. But structurally, it's tiny compared to the steel surrounding it.
Now you might be wondering how this compares to clad pipes. Well, clad pipes use a permanent metallurgical bond. They are literally chemically fused together. MLPs don't do that. They rely entirely on a tight interference fit. Basically, the inner liner is expanded so tightly into the outer pipe that friction and tension just hold it in place. But because they aren't permanently glued together, if that external pressure overwhelms it, the thin liner can just detach, separate, and buckle right inward.
And that is exactly why the tightness of that interference fit is everything. The data makes it super clear. A higher percentage of liner tightness drastically shoots up the critical collapse pressure. Basically, giving that liner a seriously tight fit during manufacturing is what gives the whole pipe a fighting chance. The tighter the grip, the harder it is to crush.
Okay, moving on to the collapse test setup. Let's step into the interrogation room. Because of that vulnerability we just talked about, engineers put the MLP through the liner collapse test. This is the ultimate qualification trial. It deliberately mimics extreme compressive loading in a lab to answer one simple question. Does the internal liner stay supported by the outer pipe, or does it fold? It is a brutal pass or fail test.
To pull this off, researchers use a representative pipe specimen. It has to be completely identical to the real deal going to the ocean floor. Then they rig it up with high-pressure hydraulic pumps, precision digital pressure transducers, and an annular pressurization chamber to simulate that deep-sea squeeze. Add an advanced measurement gear like laser scanners to track the diameter, and they can monitor every single microscopic flinch.
So how does the trial actually work? Let's walk through the step-by-step procedure. Phase 1 is all about getting a flawless baseline. First, they clean and inspect the specimen, recording the exact outside diameter, wall thickness, and ovality. Then comes instrumentation, wiring up the transducers for internal, external, and differential pressure. Finally, a strict initial inspection. If they find even a tiny pre-existing wrinkle, dent, or buckle before the test even starts, the results are completely compromised.
Then we hit phase 2. Engineers start gradually increasing that pressure differential in tiny increments to avoid any dynamic shock. They want a steady, increasing load. They monitor everything: diameter changes, liner movement, you name it. They are hunting for collapse detection, watching like hawks for buckling or instability. Finally, they slowly unload the pressure for the post-mortem inspection to check for residual damage.
Which takes us to catching the collapse and delivering the verdict.
So, what does a failure actually look like? It's triggered the second those instruments pick up sudden inward buckling or localized wrinkling of that thin CRA liner. Sometimes it's so violent you can actually hear a loud pop of instability. The sensors might also catch a severe pressure drop,
which tells us the liner just completely pulled away and lost structural contact with the outer wall.
But we have to make a really crucial distinction here between elastic buckling and plastic collapse. If it's elastic buckling, the liner temporarily bends under the immense load, but miraculously snaps right back to its original safe shape once the pressure is off. It survives. But plastic collapse? That leaves a permanent, fatal inward scar. It's game over for the pipe.
Finally, let's look at the ultimate verdict, the acceptance criteria.
To survive this test and get cleared for the ocean floor, perfection is basically the only passing grade. We're talking zero liner buckling during the specified pressure hold, zero permanent deformation after unloading, absolutely no wrinkling or cracking, and complete retention of that interference fit without any separation at all.
As the engineering objective spells out, the goal is pretty straightforward. See if the liner stays supported or if it folds. But the stakes couldn't be higher. This single, highly controlled lab test is literally the barrier preventing a theoretical design on a computer screen from becoming a massive, catastrophic subsea rupture in the real world.
Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought to wrap up this explainer. As humanity keeps pushing deeper into the ocean, tapping into environments with insanely high pressures and temperatures unlike anything we've dealt with before, how are these rigorous stress tests going to have to evolve? Are we going to need totally new alloys, new manufacturing techniques, or radically different ways to measure microscopic failures? It's an incredible frontier for engineering. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and keep questioning the science beneath the surface.